And yo, welcome to another edition of the West Coast Crossover. I am JD.
And I'm Jeremiah, the Prophet. And it's the podcast where if your podcast ain't this, it's garbage. And if your team ain't the Lakers, they're weak as fuck also.
Facts. So follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and all that other good stuff. Don't forget to download the podcast on your favorite streaming app. Yo, we about to get into it, but off of the rip.
Ooh, like a gang, like a gang, like a gang. Ooh. So scores and we dancing like we traded dang. Yeah. Your team might win for a couple games. Ooh. Talk smack, we gon' bring up these 16 rings. Yeah. In LA, we bang on Bron, cause Kobe the king. Ooh. Fuck KD, man, that lame ain't gang. Yeah. Bandwagons jump on Warriors when they can't hang. Ooh. We keep it like a gang, like a gang, like a gang.
Kobe, and following up a night dedicated to Kobe. It was Kobe Day and all that other good stuff. We're going to get into plenty of Kobe talk, but we're also going to get into the Lakers game against the Warriors last night where they came up on the short end of the stick. We'll also cover that game briefly, but we'll definitely get into a lot of Kobe stuff today along with some other Lakers stuff. What's been going on with the Lakers? That's how we do on the West Coast Crossover, man.
Yeah, man, it was an exciting night, bro. I enjoyed that game, bro. It was actually very, very exciting from pretty much from the tip-off all the way to the end, man, in the overtime, right?
Yeah, man. So let's get right into it. To start off the game, the Warriors did not have any Steph. There was no Draymond. So that gave the Lakers an excellent chance to possibly pull out a win tonight. The Lakers got off to a nice start. Brandon Ingram got off to a real good start along with Brook Lopez. Lonzo Ball wasn't hitting his shot at first, but his passing was real good. He was getting his teammates involved. The Lakers were leading midway through the quarter. Things got a little bit stagnant, though, for the Lakers towards the end. They started turnovers. They started showing their ugly head. The defense started playing a little poorly. There was a few breakdowns. Warriors went on one of those panic runs, and they ended up with a 32-24 lead at the end of that quarter. But two things that I noticed, dog.
What's that?
One thing, bro, I have got to give it up to Julius Randle, because that dude dunked on KD so damn hard. Shaq had to shed a tear after he saw that because that was bashing. Anyway, also, I gotta give props to Jordan Clarkson because he got in on that action as well and gave KD some ruckus. Maybe it's because Kobe was in the crowd. He was thinking back to that time that Kobe told him, don't be finishing at the rack like a light-skinned brother. Yeah. And he went to the rack hard and threw it down on KD too, dog.
Hey, he threw it down with the Nigerian na ba.
So to start the second quarter, the Warriors were up 32-24, but the Lakers came out with energy and some purpose, man. They cut the lead down to 2 points, mainly behind the play of the bench and or like an effort from the defense that kicked back up. So the quarter was kind of up and down, but the Lakers, they remained diligent with their effort, kept fighting, found themselves going into halftime. They were down 57-53, but I would be remiss if I did not mention Larry Nance going up in the air and baptizing KD's ass with the dunk of the year, savagely beasting on KD. And damn, that was bad. I know Larry Nance gets up and gets down like that, but Jesus, that was bad, bro.
It was one of those ones where you see it coming too, like, you know what I mean? KD was trying to guard the ball. Yeah. He sized him up. Like he caught the bounce pass and he was just fully in stride, and it was like, oh shit, either he's gonna get fouled or he's about to.
Your mincemeat, nigga.
Yeah, bro.
But hey, one bad thing that came out of that quarter was my man Brook Lopez.
Yeah,
he fell down and hurt himself, and it was not looking too good for him, dog. He had to go back to the locker room. He did not come back. Speaking of which, him not coming back, when the Lakers came back after halftime and they did all the Kobe shout outs and all that, Kuzma actually started in the absence of Brook Lopez, and he came out doing his thing. And again, they were looking inspired, able to take the lead in that third quarter. Brandon Ingram got hurt a little bit, had a small cheek contusion. It wasn't bad as it looked at first. But I didn't like the way that Jordan Bell kind of crushed him on that play. He was obviously hurt, and he just kind of stood over him. So I instantly disliked that dude. Fuck Jordan Bell. But, after exchanging the lead, the Lakers found themselves down by 1 at the end of the quarter. And then the fourth quarter came. Warriors started pulling away. But the Lakers, they just kept fighting, Doc. And often as of late, but halfway through the quarter, the refs started blowing it, all kind of bad calls. Lakers didn't let that thwart their efforts, though. They were able to tie the game 93 apiece with 5 minutes left. And again, Warriors started pulling away, but the Lakers showed a lot of heart and resiliency, and they were actually able to tie that shit up, dog. They tied that shit up. Mm-hmm. What happened, dog? The Lakers tied that shit up, and then what was it? How'd that shit go? I know the Warriors.
Well, what happened is KCP.
Oh my fucking God!
KCP came
that's
around.
That's what it was,
screen,
dog.
Right? Yeah.
The game was tied, and the Warriors had the ball, and they fucking missed, dog.
Yeah.
Did the Lakers have a timeout at this point?
No, they had no timeouts left.
That still is no excuse for KCP's ass, dog. What he did and got the ball, I swear to God, he dribbled the ball up the floor, passing all his teammates up.
Yeah.
All of who would have been a better option at that time, because at that time he was 3 of 14 and on his bullshit.
Yeah.
Dog, he threw up that air ball. I damn near threw my remote through the TV, dog.
I knew you was hot, bro. You know what happened was, it was one of those things that we talk about often here on the show. He was set up for that bye. When we were down by 3, KCP came around a curl screen, and I mean, his man was tight around his hip, but he got a fraction of a second of time with the ball, and he just fired up one of those moving, difficult shot badge 3-pointers, and it went in. And that's how we tied up the game, to even be able to have the opportunity to take the lead. And I guess that made him be able to be feeling himself to such a degree that he would look off all of his teammates as he dribbled up the court and hoisted up another horrible shot, man. And one of those things where he fed his ego, was feeling himself, and it went all bad. So I knew you was hot, man. We were texting, and
Kobe was so pissed he left. He didn't even stay for overtime, dog. He was pissed, dog. And I feel him, nigga. I fucking feel him, dog. But anyway, dog.
But you gotta keep 100, man. We wouldn't have been in it at that point without.
No.
Hey,
dog.
These are facts, though, bro. These are facts.
No, nigga, he gets no credit, dog. He gets no credit. All credit gets erased by the bullshit that he does on a consistent basis, dog.
Oh, man.
No, dog.
Okay. Well, then what ended up happening is we went into overtime, and that's when KD, who had been at that point shooting very poorly from the field percentage-wise, yet had a lot of points, he kicked in and his stuff started falling, man, and he basically ate us up throughout the overtime period.
Yeah, he did. But Alonzo kind of showed up at the beginning, because when it was looking dire for the Lakers, they were down 107-102.
Yep.
He's actually the one that hit 2 shots in a row, including a 3, to bring the Lakers back and tie it up. And the crowd was going crazy. Y'all was going crazy. You know, it was one of those kind of moments where it looked like Lonzo turned the corner, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, speaking of which, the game ended up being tied again at 114 after Lonzo hit a layup to tie it up.
Yes.
So he had a big time overtime, even though he missed that layup at the end, or got a shot block at the rim by West. I didn't fault him for that. That was tough. I mean, he had to get to the rim and do something. Yep. And it didn't look the same as when KCP did his bullshit.
No, not at all. No, that was the right play to make, which is normally what my man Lonzo does.
So I got to give him some props, man. And speaking of Lonzo, man, before we get into that, though, definitely got to shout out Kobe for him having his night. But speaking of Lonzo, how have you felt about Lonzo? Let's just say this past month, since we at the end of December, compared to how he was for the month of November, which was basically the opening month for the Lakers.
Dude, I've been a Lonzo apologist all year. I feel like I have some kind of ownership stake in what he does for some weird reason. I just was talking to my wife yesterday, and I said, what has Lonzo ever done for me that I rep him so hard? Because I got like some secret love. I got some love for Lonzo for some reason, man. I can't even front, bro. It's not a secret at all.
You one of the Lonzo Ball original orderers of the shoes. Did you ever get those, bro?
No. I actually did not end up ordering the shoes, bro, because a nigga, you know what I'm saying, what had happened was the way my banking account works. You know what I mean?
Say way mine work.
Yeah. So I did not order those shoes. We do have some other big baller brand merchandise flowing through the house. But maybe it's just because he's from Chino, and I like what his father has been doing as far as a black man in his community and with his children. I don't know if that's what it is, but I've always liked Lonzo. And also, I also believe that he reminds me somewhat of the way my son plays basketball. He's got a calm demeanor. He's unselfish. And you really can't read what he's thinking. It just reminds me a little bit of being at my AAU games with my son. But I've always liked him. I always felt like he would do good, and I wish well for the young fella. Throughout this month, to answer your question, he has been showing others some of the things that I have seen since he's been at Chino Hills High School. His confidence appears to be coming in a little bit better. He's having longer stretches where he's being aggressive and attacking the middle of the court before he just swings out a pass, and that's making all the difference. I'll tell you one more thing from yesterday that I noticed seriously, and my wife, I believe, noticed next to me as well, that when Lonzo went out of the game at different stretches, that's when our offense looked like trash, man. I was watching it with my brother-in-law and my wife, and the offense just became 5 individual players hunting for their own shots. Soon as Lonzo sat down, we had Kuzma, Randall, Clarkson, and I think KCP and Josh Hart out there at some point. And they did not have the steadying force to be the glue guy and make sure that everybody got a touch. When he was in, the ball would touch 3 hands before a shot went up. As soon as he sat down, it would be a 1 pass or no pass shot. That was not a good look. Even when they went in, it felt like, man, this is just not a way to play basketball. It's unsustainable. So if anything else, I would say that he has definitely become a major force in how the Lakers operate, if nothing else.
Facts, bro. I have to tend to agree with you, man, because, and much to your point, I know how you like to bring up that plus minus. You know, last night, he was a plus 10 while he was on the court. And even though I know they put up big numbers, Kuzma and Randall, you know, they were in the negatives, double digits.
Big time.
So, big time, yeah. I think, Kuzma was negative 17. Randall was negative 12, you know, and Kuzma had 25 points. And he was efficient while he was on the floor, and he actually played 40 minutes. I thought he played well. But, you know, the Warriors were able to take advantage of some things while he was out there, and the ball was off. Man,
let me tell you something, man. This is real talk, bro. And I like Kuzma, man. I like Kuzma. I just like to be the balancing force. I got a lot of people out here that go crazy about Lonzo was talking about how he's trash and that Kuzma is the man and he's the best rookie and blah, blah. I don't believe that many people are looking at this with an eye towards both sides of the floor and an overall effect on the game. Kuzma is a baller, man. I love what he does on offense. I love how active he is. I feel like we need him, and he's just the steal of the draft. But multiple times last night, I would notice that he would lose his man. You know, he'd be ball watching, his man cuts back door, and that's where it happens. The same way you said, you know what, we can't, I said we wouldn't have been in that game if it wasn't for that retarded shot from Caldwell Pope, you know, and some of the things that he did on defense, because he gets his hands on a lot of loose balls, and he's very, very, very active on defense. I mean, just lit. He's the number one guy on defense for us, I believe. But some of the mistakes that he makes on offense are so egregious that make you say, dude, nah, man, I don't care. I don't like him. He's not helping us. I feel in some ways that happens with Kyle Kuzma, man. He gets super hyped up because of his offensive skills and what he does out there. But I'm telling you, man, he's not really good for a lot else around the court. His IQ seems pretty poor, man. On his offensive and defensive IQ is pretty poor, in my opinion, bro. And his and he can hurt us sometimes, man, on the defensive end. What do you think, man?
Well, just to get back to Lonzo Ball real quick, I was one of the detractors a little bit in the beginning of the season, not liking what I saw, But it would only be fair for me to point out that he has improved dramatically month to month. And I've seen it on the floor, and the numbers kind of bear that out. I know he was shooting around 30% in November. Now he's up above 40% for the month of December. So that's looking a lot better. And we've noticed it, and we've talked about it, how his shot looks a lot better coming off of his hand. That's been my main criticism towards Ball. So again, I'm back on board with, I like what I see from him. I like that his shot's coming around. I like the rest of his game already, and knowing that that's only going to get better. I definitely appreciate what he brings to the floor. Now, hopping over to Kuzma, I personally am still a big Kuzma fan.
Me too.
I'm still in the party that I think he eventually has the potential to become one of the top 20 players in the league. But I would be remiss if I didn't agree with you on the fact that he needs to step up his defense, because there was a point late in that game where they did get one of those backdoor cuts. He wasn't looking, and I think it was in overtime. They got an easy layup, and there was really no excuse for that, being in the position that they were in. So, yeah, that rears its ugly head, and that kind of frustrating.
It was just an IQ thing. He tries. I believe that the things that Lonzo does so well that the average basketball consumer doesn't get. He's seeing things that other people don't see. He's making reads that it takes a 10-year veteran to learn to do. He's good at everything except for putting the ball in the hole a lot of times, right?
And he's getting better.
That's what everybody cares about, is putting the ball in the hole.
Right.
Kuzma is great at putting the ball in the hole. They're inverse opposites. Kuzma's great at putting the ball in the hole and not very good at the things that Lonzo's good at. You know what I mean?
Technical stuff, little details, getting teammates involved, things of that nature.
Right. And these are the things that make them a good fit to go along together, man. It's, those are facts, man.
All right. Well, so let me ask you this then, since we touched on those two dudes. All right. Free agency withstanding, forget all that. Looking at the roster as currently constructed, all right, do you think the Lakers have someone on their roster right now that they could consider somebody that would be able to have the ability to carry them to a championship? Somebody that you can build a championship team around. Do they have that player on their roster right now? Not that he's that guy now, but do they have a player that's going to develop into that player right now?
Well, man, we haven't talked about him much at all this show, but it'd have to be Brandon Ingram, in my opinion. Brandon Ingram is a hell of a baller, man. He has potential that most of the Lakers just don't have. He has a ceiling with his athleticism and his length and his dexterity that just makes you feel like that dude could do something, and he has a lot of untapped potential, because if you look at him, let's see, last night he went for 19 on basically 50% shooting against one of the best defenders in the league. KD was on him most of the game. And he had the tough task of trying to guard KD and be one of the big men at times on the floor for us. And he got all 19 of those points, dude. Minus the 7 free throws he made. He got every one of those points by driving to the right side of the basket, taking the big steps, getting contact, and finish. I mean, I'm serious. It's almost comical how often that man could go to the right side of the basket with the right hand, bump with the left shoulder, and score.
But that's like his patented move now. That's his signature move.
Right. And so if that dude ever develops a step back, then, I mean, he's going to be unstoppable. Or God forbid, he goes left every once in a while.
Yeah, and I've said that same thing. When he develops that mid-range jumper where it's a lot more reliable, because he's getting there as well. Yeah. But when he develops that and it becomes a real weapon that you have to fear, that's going to be he's going to be unstoppable. And like you said, he has a lot of untapped potential. And full disclosure, I was one of those people that was pretty much down on Brandon Ingram, especially early last year.
I remember.
Moving forward, at the end of the year, I started to see it. I was like, all right, this dude's doing some stuff. But even at the beginning of this year, I was like, hey, man, I wouldn't be upset if the Lakers heard a good deal for him, if they got rid of him. But I really see what he can do, and I think that he's really realizing his own potential and really finding his effective areas on the floor. And speaking of KD, I know KD had 36 points, but he struggled for the vast majority of that game to really get his offense off. And Brandon Ingram had a lot to do with that. He's been consistent on defense all year to me. So I really like Brandon Ingram a lot. And I think that he is the one, if you're going to look at this roster and how it's made up right now, I would point to him as the guy being like, okay, well, if you have to build around and have a franchise guy, he'd be the guy. So I would agree with you there in regards to Brandon Ingram and his future with the Lakers. Definitely like what he's been doing, man. Shout out to Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram has been balling, and he's been showing some of that Mamba mentality. Nigga, speaking of the Mamba,
get into him. Got to.
That it was an awesome night to be able to see Kobe with the beard, you know what I'm saying, coming out with the ladies of his life, and really just be honored as being the great Laker that he always was, man. And in thinking about Kobe and his legacy with the Lakers, as his 2 numbers are retired and hanging in Staples Center forever, ever, ever, which Kobe is your Kobe, dog? Is it number 8 or is it number 24, bro?
Is it Afro Kobe or receding hairline Kobe?
Now let's talk about that receding hairline real quick, though. Real quick. Why you bring that up? Because this is no. I'm actually not trying to roast my nigga Kobe at all. Maybe kinda, but I'm giving him props because Kobe is an innovator in many ways. Kobe had this like number 0 or 1/2 guard buzzed all the way around his hair, nigga, with the laser fucking straight razor edge up, dog. To where that's like halfway back in the back of his head, but it's so unnoticeable, nigga. It makes you feel like his shit almost looks regular. Like he has the receding hairline of LeBron, but that shit is like
but
so
it's perfectly
sharp.
Blended and faded.
Yeah.
And lined up precisionally. You're right. He had that the last couple years of his career.
That nigga's faux hairline is the most vicious of all time, and of all the things he gets props for, he never gets props for that. So I want to shout Kobe out for having the sickest balding hairline in the game, nigga. If I had his barber, dog, I wouldn't shave my shit, man.
Yeah, hey, he could actually be on some Stephen A. Smith if he didn't get it shaped up the way he did. So yeah, shout out to him.
Right. His shit could easily look like LeBron or Stephen A. Smith, but he found some fucking chemical mutation. He found some barber, nigga, that is just vicious with it. And I really do think he might use a laser. I would not be surprised if the nigga goes to Germany and has a fucking laser on his edge up.
A permanent laser treatment done to give him the just stop his hairline in its tracks.
Right.
And just blend it into his skin perfectly so it just doesn't look all that bad. So shout out to him. Way to go.
That's a pretty good balding hairline, man.
Yeah,
I can't say that about no one else on earth, nigga.
When I get to be that way.
Yeah, have you ever complimented a nigga on his balding hairline, bro? I mean, I'm serious.
Never.
Only Mamba. But who is your Kobe, dog? Is it
all right,
laser hairline balding or weird goatee afro?
You know what? I go back and forth on this, and I thought I had settled on 24. That was going to be my final answer. I was with 24. I was with the way that he had carved out his own path. You know, he left Shaq. He had went through the losing, and now this was really his team and franchise, and he was a whole nother level of his legacy was happening in 24. Different from 8, man. But this is the thing. I really look back at what the hell he was able to do as 8, you know, and what I kind of did was subtract the first 3 years, and then I took away the last 3 years, you know, and gave him 5 years of 24, 5 of 8. And he was so damn phenomenal and amazing as 8. I think he was more of a willing passer. Maybe it's because of the teammates around him at the time. I think that I am going to have to settle on 8 today, December 19th, as my favorite Kobe. Just the athleticism, some of the dunks that he did from his rookie year on. 3 championships that they won, some of the moments that he had, including the moment that really elevated him into an upper status for me, and which is one of my favorite Kobe moments that people don't really say, is when Shaq fouled out of that game against the Pacers in the finals. And the Lakers were down, and it was up to Kobe to right the ship and bring the Lakers to victory in that game, in a pivotal game where the Pacers conceivably could have got themselves back into that series and made something of it. Kobe shut all that shit down with his play, and really that series elevated himself. So when I look back at everything, I think I'm going to have to go with 8 as my Kobe of choice.
All right, bro. Well, man, that makes it difficult for me because similarly to you, I was leaning towards 24, and but I really, really love some of the highlight moments of the under 8, you know, particularly
right
pressing them nuts all up on Dwight Howard to the ground. Like I found that to be one of my most exciting moments, and that happened when he was wearing number 8. And of course, the 81-point game happened when he was wearing number 8. Against Toronto. That was a huge deal. And I mean, that's one of those moments that solidified Kobe as being like that dude. Like,
right.
Did this nigga go for 81 and, you know, had 62 in a game a couple days before that, you know, in 3 quarters.
In 3 quarters.
You know, where he could have easily had over 80 that game.
Yeah, he could have did twice in just a couple weeks.
Right. And then he had that long stretch where he had like, I think he had like 6 or 7 50-point games in a row.
Right. He was averaging like 50 points for a couple weeks or something like that.
Yeah, that nigga was vicious during that time. Man. So 8 had those moments, but from an overall skill level, man,
right.
By the time he was 24, there were certain times where I was like, this nigga is the coldest ever. You know, that's when he was in that zone where he had the perfect, in the early years of the 24 number, he had the perfect blend of athleticism,
physical
and
prime,
intellect. Yeah. And he used to put niggas in the popcorn machine and give them that footwork, have niggas dancing out there. I thought that dude was the Jordan Kobe, you know. Some of the time, man. You know, and like probably the 3rd year of him being number 24 was when he was like real close to what Jordan was at his prime. You know?
When you really looked at those comparisons to Jordan and you really gave them some serious thought for a couple years there, it was kind of in that transition period of 8 to 24 when he was able, like you were talking about, marry his physical skills, which were still in their peak level, along with experience and his vast knowledge of the game, which was already kind of superior to everybody. He was able to marry those two things while still in his, you know, prime, and he was just something else, man. He was the closest thing to Jordan that we've ever seen.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And, you know, the footwork, some of that stuff that you've seen from Kobe, as someone who really, really loves basketball and coaches and kind of scouts kids a little bit, you know, when I see a kid that has that footwork, dog, that can just pivot, inside pivot, you know, not travel and just and do a move where you be like, did he travel? Nah, damn, that's not a travel. You know, those moves right there, that. Like, damn. And Kobe was a master of that, dog. And that was the 24. So I'm gonna go ahead and still roll with number 8 though, bro, because I ain't gonna let you change my mind, nigga. This ain't first take, nigga. I roll with what I got.
Yeah, man. Ask me next show. My answer might be a little bit different, but okay. Let's try this on for size then. Comparing Kobe to Magic as the greatest Laker in franchise history, man. Who you going with?
Ooh, now that is rough because see, I am Magic's my favorite player of all time, bro. That's my dude, bro. I'm into passing. I love the way Magic played. I love his spirit. I love what he's done for the city of LA. And he seems kind of more like a real one to me, man. I could relate to Magic a lot more than I can to Kobe because he's one of them weird niggas from like Italy. That's like, you know what I'm saying? That probably like read books and shit. Like I can't really understand that kind of nigga, but I'm just playing. But, I have to say from a Lakers standpoint, man, it's real close, dude. It's real close. Magic's career was cut short because of the
the announcement of having the HIV virus and how that went across the league. You know, he could have done a lot more. But then again, you also had Jordan coming into his own around that time, bro. And I don't know what the hell that would have meant for us anyway. So, Kobe, I gotta cop out and say it's a tie for me, bro. Because while I'm sorry, bro, but I gotta do it. Magic was on a whole nother level. The way he elevated his team, the way he shared the ball, the showtime, the pizzazz, how he energized the whole NBA with him and Bird's battles. And the way, I mean, just how he can come in as a rookie, man, and put the team on his back. That's some shit that can't nobody really say, man. To go and win the championship, like, Magic was so special on that level. But Kobe and his work ethic changed the way I even look at basketball. You know, when you hear the stories about how Kobe got down and the way he forged himself into being the player that he was, made you just feel like anything is possible if you put your mind to it, type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Very inspiring.
Yeah. And the way he would eat niggas alive. I really do feel like Kobe would eat up anybody, and I mean anybody, in a game of one-on-one at his prime. I mean anybody. I mean Michael Jordan. I mean LeBron. I mean Wilt damn Chamberlain or whoever the hell. I really believe that, you know? And maybe I'm just bought into the Mamba hype, but dog.
That's just killing me, bro.
Bruh, the dude is vicious, man. And Kobe never seemed like the dude I'd want to smoke a blunt and have a beer with. You know what I'm saying? He, I was never my guy for that kind of stuff. But if you don't respect Kobe, you just a hater, bro.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. So my answer to that, man, and I got to agree with you on a lot of what you said, man, but I do have an answer. And for me, it is Magic Johnson as being number one, and Kobe's basically like 1A. Then I think it might go. I was a kid when I watched Magic, so maybe there's some nostalgia there. But I also know not only did he help kind of resurrect the Lakers, I understand Kareem was there, but like you said, they won a championship his rookie year. A lot of what he and Bird did not only resurrected their teams, but they resurrected the league as a whole. Yeah. And he was such an anomaly, and nothing has come since him. The only person that I've ever heard compared to Magic is LeBron. So he was so transformative and brought that showtime and brought a whole new kind of basketball into the league where everybody was trying to emulate that. I mean, and then the stuff that he was doing for the city, on a broader scale, even as a rookie, moving on up, not even getting into what he did business wise, but just it's for me, the way he played made everybody better. I don't think James Worthy might have been a Hall of Famer if it wasn't for Magic.
Nah, man.
Who knows? Maybe he would have been, a guy that put up 30 points, but not a team that won. He would have been fucking Alex English or Bernard King or one of those guys. Yeah. So Magic made so many Hall of Fame careers, so much charisma. He transcended so much on the court, even in college, which Kobe didn't have the benefit of, that I got to go with Magic, and now he's part owner of the Lakers and he's dabbling in that. And doing what he can to bring a championship back. I mean, he's just had a bigger impact on the franchise. He's always around. He's always been pro Lakers, where now, I know it's a little bit off of the court, but Kobe's kind of removed from the team and into what he's doing with his life away from basketball now that he's not a player, and I factor all that in when I think of the greatest guy in the history of the Lakers franchise. So that's why I got to roll with Magic on this one.
Yeah, man, I can't disagree with you too much on that, bro. Like I said, Magic's my favorite player of all time, and that's my dude, bro. I got one expensive, authentic Laker jersey, and it's a Magic Johnson jersey, and and it's actually in a frame, dog. We don't even wear that, nigga. That's decorations,
right?
And it's that serious, dog. That's my dude. But then again, man, it's always hard to compare different players from different positions and different eras. Yeah. And it's also very hard to compare different Lakers, because the Lakers, for all you damn haters out there, have colder players and a better history
Facts.
than 99% of all y'all motherfuckers out there, if not 100. And Shaq was a bad motherfucker. Wilt Chamberlain was a bad motherfucker. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar might be the coldest nigga ever. And they're all Lakers,
Facts.
They're all Lakers.
That. Don't forget Elgin. Don't forget Jerry West.
Elgin Baylor, Jerry
These
West.
niggas coming off the bench.
Really though. Really though.
Franchise team.
Really though.
The logo of the league, right?
The logo of the league.
Show some respect.
Bitch, put some respect on the Lakers' name.
Y'all might have had a good 6-7 year run, but you're not the Lakers.
Not the Lakers, nigga, and won't ever, and will never will be, never will be, unless California just falls off the earth in one of those earthquakes, like on these movies and shit. Then your team will never be better than the Lakers, dog.
Facts.
Real shit. Real
Facts.
Anyways, speaking of niggas that's not better than the Lakers, but are having a great run nowadays, the Warriors did get the win against the Lakers, but they took an L in the haircut department once again.
As always.
You know what we got to do.
Wait. We got to. Get in. Time for that roasting session. Prophet. Get in.
Jamal Brookie, nigga. Not only do you have the fucking 80s rat tail with the dingy headband covering the most fucked up, let's make it nice and neat, number 3 all around fro. You braided that motherfucker into 3 parts, bro. What the fuck? Why? Who? Now it's a trifecta, a cat of 9 tails of fucking rat tail, bro. Are you serious? Is that how you are going about your NBA career, my nigga? Is that how you are going to wear your shit? Oh my God! Look, JD's feed just blanked out on us right now. We're talking about. I think the computer shut down, could not handle any more of the damn haircuts that go on with the Warriors. Hold on, let me call this nigga back. His shit didn't shut down. His shit didn't shut all the way down. It's just me now. Here's what I want to do. I want you guys out there in Laker Gang Nation to send us in all of your jokes on the Warriors haircuts, because this shit could go on forever. And I'm gonna stop it right here. So you guys go ahead and send those notes in, those jokes in, put them in the comments below, and hit us up on westcoastcrossover.com, on facebook.com/westcoastcrossover. We're also at West Coast Crossover on Instagram and Twitter. On any of those platforms, or YouTube even, hit us up and kick your jokes on the Warriors haircuts. And when we make our compilation of our roasts, we will read off all the jokes, the best jokes that y'all give us about the Warriors haircuts. And that will be part of that shit. And y'all niggas will be immortalized in West Coast Crossover Laker gang history, son. Anyway, for JD, I am Jeremiah the Prophet. This has been the West Coast Crossover. And we out this bitch.